They say heart attacks are just a part of getting older, but the truth is, your risk of heart attack doubles after age 65, not because you're aging, but because of what you may have stopped doing. This video is not about fear. It's about powerful, practical habits. Habits that can lower your risk of heart disease, protect your energy, and help you live longer with the people who matter most. We'll cover 8 simple daily steps, from drinking more water and reducing sodium, to managing stress and checking your blood pressure. These are not fads, they're not expensive, and they're not hard to do. If you're over 65 or care about someone who is, this might be the most valuable 25 minutes you spend this year. So grab a glass of water, get comfortable, and follow along. Like this video if you care about senior heart health, subscribe for more wellness tips tailored to older adults in the US, and leave a comment sharing which habit you're working on first. Because peace of mind, mental clarity, and a strong heart don't come from medication alone. They come from consistent, quiet choices, one calm day at a time. Let's begin. Sometimes it's not the big changes we forget, but the small, quiet ones we let slip away. After 65, your heart doesn't suddenly give out. It slowly bends under the weight of forgotten routines, skipped walks, and choices pushed to tomorrow. And yet, this is the very season in life when your heart needs rhythm more than ever. Not urgency, not intensity, but steady, repeated care. You don't need to become someone new to stay healthy. You only need to return to what's always mattered: movement, nourishment, rest, and reflection. Drink water even if you don't feel thirsty. Stretch your legs even if you don't feel stiff. Check your blood pressure even if you feel just fine. And eat not to fill space but to feed life. The truth is, your heart doesn't ask for much. It only asks that you stay with it, that you show up for it. Because every small neglect, over time, becomes a pattern. And every pattern left unchecked becomes a risk. But here's the part many people forget. Healing happens the same way harm did, bit by bit. A habit skipped is a brick added to the wrong path. A habit kept is one brick laid towards strength and peace. What makes a difference isn't what you do once in a while. It's what you do when no one is watching, when it would be easier not to. Heart attacks may feel sudden, but they are built silently over years of inconsistency. So let today be the quiet beginning of something stronger. You don't need to wait for a diagnosis. You don't need to fear your age. What matters more than age is rhythm, and what matters more than motivation is your willingness to return to what works again and again. Walk when you can, rest when you must, and above all, keep showing up for yourself, for your life, and for your heart. Discipline doesn't shout, it whispers through your daily choices, so let each choice, no matter how small, be a vote for your own longevity. Let it be a silent promise to live not just longer, but more fully, with clarity, strength, and the calm confidence that comes from living in tune with what matters. If you're ready to take one step each day for your heart, comment, Day 1. There's something so ordinary about a glass of water that we forget it's medicine. But after 65, hydration is no longer optional. It's protection. Your body changes quietly with age. One of the first senses to fade is thirst. You may not feel the urge to drink, yet your blood thickens, your circulation slows, and your heart begins to strain, silently, constantly. It's easy to overlook. Many seniors drink less to avoid extra bathroom trips or because water feels bland. But what seems harmless can become harmful fast. Thick, sticky blood makes the heart work harder. It raises your risk of blood clots, high blood pressure, and yes, heart attacks. You may not notice until your energy drops, your mind feels foggy, or your heartbeat becomes irregular. That's why hydrating isn't about responding to thirst. It's about building a quiet routine that supports your heart before trouble begins. Start your morning with a warm glass of water, as if you're saying good morning to your body. Throughout the day, sip slowly. Let it be a habit, not a chore. Herbal teas, a slice of lemon, a bit of cucumber, these small touches make it easier to stay consistent. And if your urine is dark yellow, that's your body's quiet cry for help. Hydration doesn't just help your heart. It clears your mind, it protects your kidneys, it lubricates your joints, and it gives your body the energy to keep moving, especially when you feel tired for no clear reason. Sometimes the body isn't exhausted, it's simply dry. The beauty of this habit is how simple it is. No prescriptions, no appointments. Just the will to care for yourself with something as humble and essential as water. When you make hydration part of your daily rhythm, you're not just drinking, you're choosing to live with intention. You're choosing to listen to what your heart needs, even when it doesn't speak loudly. After 65, your peace of mind isn't found in sudden fixes. It's built drop by drop, glass by glass, day by day. So drink deeply, not out of fear, but out of care. Your heart is listening even when you're not, and every sip is a silent step towards strength. To commit to better hydration, type, "I'll drink more" in the comments. Some days feel heavy before they even begin. The body stiffens, the mind fogs, and the chair feels safer than the floor. But the longer we stay still, the more the heart suffers quietly. After 65, movement is no longer about fitness goals or appearance. It's about flow, helping your blood move freely, giving your heart a reason to keep its rhythm strong. The heart, after all, is a muscle. Like any muscle, it softens and weakens without use. Sitting too long slows circulation. It raises blood pressure. It invites clots to form where they shouldn't. But movement doesn't need to look like exercise. A walk around the block, arms raised gently overhead, swaying in the kitchen to music you love, these moments count. Each one brings life to your cells, clarity to your mind, and strength to your heart. If joints ache or balance feels uncertain, start with 5 minutes. Stand near a wall. Sit and raise your legs. Breathe with your arms stretched gently. What matters is not how far you go, but that you go. Set a gentle reminder to stand every hour. Not because you're chasing fitness, but because you're choosing vitality. One gentle walk today may mean avoiding a hospital stay tomorrow. Movement reduces inflammation, eases stiffness, and improves sleep, all things your heart depends on. When the body moves, the mind often follows. Worries soften, moods lift, a sense of purpose quietly returns. That's not a coincidence. That's the circulatory system, giving your brain what it needs to feel alive. Staying active isn't about trying harder, it's about returning to something natural. The body was made to move, not to freeze in fear or habit. You don't need to sweat, you don't need to hurt, you only need to begin. And then, begin again tomorrow. Keep the rhythm gentle but present, because consistency is what keeps the heart strong, not intensity. After 65, motion becomes medicine. You don't need a gym, you need a reason. And some days, that reason can simply be this: to stay independent, to feel your feet on the ground, to breathe a little easier, and to live the life you still have with dignity. Every step you take says something to your body. I'm still here. I still choose health. And I'm not done moving forward. Some pain doesn't show up in blood tests. It lives quietly in the chest, tightens the breath, and lingers behind smiles. After 65, stress doesn't always feel like panic or pressure. It often comes dressed as loneliness, silent grief, money, concerns, or the ache of missing someone who's no longer at the table. But even when it hides behind softer names, it still weighs on the heart, not just emotionally, but physically. Chronic stress releases hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. These chemicals spike your blood pressure, constrict your arteries, and keep your heart working harder than it should. Over time, the damage adds up. Yet stress rarely announces itself with a bang. It creeps in with the news you didn't expect, the phone call you waited for but never came, the night you stared at the ceiling too alert to rest. That's why caring for your heart must include caring for your peace. And that peace can begin with something as small as 10 quiet minutes in the morning. Sit by the window, stretch gently, breathe slowly, write down one thing you're grateful for. These rituals aren't fluff. They're how the nervous system resets. They're how the body remembers it is safe. Limiting upsetting news before bed, stepping outside without your phone, listening to calming music, all help lower inflammation, ease your mind, and lift the strain off your heart. You don't need to meditate like a monk or journal like a poet. You only need to find your version of stillness, and return to it each day. Some call it a break, but your heart knows it as survival. Stillness is not laziness. It is what makes space for healing. After all, the heart does not only suffer when arteries are blocked, it suffers when burdens are unshared, when emotions are held in, when the person carrying it all feels like they're not allowed to pause. So pause. Speak softly to yourself. Let the silence hold you without demand. The truth is, you don't have to be strong by staying silent. Real strength lives in the willingness to feel, to ask for help, and to let your body exhale. When your thoughts find calm, your heart finds room to beat freely again. And that room, it may be the very thing that keeps it beating for years to come. Choose peace, not because life is simple, but because your health depends on it. Let calm be your quiet form of strength. If peace is part of your plan this week, write calm heart below. Meals carry more than flavor. They carry memory, comfort, and routine. But over time, the foods that once felt familiar can slowly wear down the heart, especially when too much salt quietly slips into the picture. After 65, the body changes in ways we don't always notice. Kidneys no longer flush out sodium as easily. Blood vessels become more sensitive. A pinch of salt here, a frozen dinner there, it all adds up. Salt causes the body to retain water, which increases the volume of blood your heart must push with every beat. That added pressure wears it down, stiffens your arteries, and raises your risk of a heart attack without ever making a sound. And the problem isn't just the salt you add. It's the salt that's already hidden in packaged foods. Soups, sauces, frozen meals, snacks, even bread. These everyday items bring a constant drip of sodium into your system. And because taste buds grow, used to that level of saltiness, you may not even realize how much you're consuming. But the body does. The heart feels it. The pressure builds slowly and the damage takes its time. The good news is, retraining your taste isn't hard. It just takes a few mindful changes. Cooking more at home gives you back control over what goes into your food and what doesn't. Season your meals with garlic, turmeric, basil, rosemary, flavors that comfort without harm. Choose low-sodium versions of products when possible, and read labels even if you've bought something before. Manufacturers change recipes. Your health should stay one step ahead. At first, your food may feel bland, but in just a few weeks, your taste buds adapt. And when they do, something beautiful happens. You begin to notice the real flavors of your food again. You slow down, you savor, you protect your heart with every bite. Cutting back on salt isn't about punishment. It's about preservation. It's how you tell your heart, I still care. I still want to be here. I still want to enjoy life with clarity and strength. Every quiet choice you make in the kitchen is a loud message to your body. I choose health over habit. I choose life over ease. And I know that even something as small as seasoning can change the course of my well-being. Let your meals become your medicine. Let your table become the place where healing begins, not just for your heart, but for your whole way of living. Not all damage to the heart begins with fat or salt. Sometimes it begins with something sweeter, something we barely notice because it hides in our morning cup, our evening snack, or the comfort foods we grew up with. Sugar, especially when left unchecked, leaves its mark quietly and constantly. Even without a diabetes diagnosis, elevated blood sugar can slowly erode the inner lining of your arteries, making them vulnerable to inflammation, plaque buildup, and blockages that lead to heart attacks and strokes. And after 65, the body's ability to regulate glucose often weakens, sometimes without symptoms. Tiredness, constant thirst, or blurry vision might seem ordinary, but these can be gentle warnings from the body. The goal here isn't strict dieting or eliminating joy from your meals. It's learning how to eat with care and intention. Whole grains, fiber-rich fruits, leafy greens, and healthy fats help your blood sugar stay steady and your energy stay strong. Walking for just 10 minutes after a meal can lower your glucose naturally and keep your circulation moving. And when you include lean proteins with each meal, your body digests more slowly, reducing spikes that put stress on your heart. Choosing to reduce processed carbs and sugary drinks isn't about punishment, it's about freedom. Freedom from the roller coaster of sugar crashes, the foggy mornings, and the slow buildup of risks that don't always show up on the surface. This is how you protect your heart from the inside out. Not in fear, but in quiet commitment. You don't have to say no to sweetness. You simply say yes to healing. And healing happens in small, repeated choices, one bite, one step at a time. The beauty of this habit is its ripple effect. Better blood sugar control means better brain clarity, more balanced moods, less joint inflammation, and a stronger immune response. It's not just your heart that benefits, it's your whole being. So next time you fill your plate or pour your drink, or feel that familiar craving tug at your thoughts, pause. Ask yourself what your heart needs more, not just for today, but for the years ahead. Let that answer guide you, not with restriction, but with quiet power. You deserve steady energy, you deserve clarity, and your heart deserves every ounce of support you can give it, starting with the way you nourish yourself moment by moment. If you're making smarter food choices, drop a comment, less sugar, more life. Pressure doesn't always feel like pressure. Sometimes it builds slowly without a sound, hiding behind a calm face and a normal day. That's what makes high blood pressure so dangerous. It doesn't announce itself with pain or warning. It whispers. Silently, it begins to damage your arteries, your kidneys, your brain, and your heart. And by the time symptoms show up, the harm may already be done. After 65, blood pressure tends to rise more easily. The body responds differently to salt, stress, and even the lack of movement. But just because something becomes common doesn't mean it's safe. Quiet problems still deserve your attention. That's why owning a home blood pressure monitor becomes an act of self-care. Checking your numbers weekly or daily if needed is not paranoia. It's wisdom. You're giving yourself the chance to act early before danger finds its voice. The goal is to stay below 120/80. If your readings are often above 130/80, speak with your doctor. Don't wait. Don't guess. And don't assume feeling fine means being well, because high blood pressure rarely hurts at first, but over time, it eats away at the very strength you rely on. You can reduce this risk with simple changes. Eat with less salt, move your body daily, breathe through stress instead of holding it in, and ease back on alcohol and caffeine. These aren't punishments, they're gifts of protection. They tell your body, I'm paying attention now. Even one high reading doesn't mean disaster, but ignoring it over and over can be a quiet slide towards something harder to undo. Think of high blood pressure like rust on a pipe. The surface looks intact, but pressure builds until one day it bursts. That's how many strokes and heart attacks begin, not with chaos, but with neglect. And neglect can end the life you worked so hard to build. So choose to notice, choose to measure, choose to respond. Monitoring your blood pressure gives you power. The power to catch problems while they're still small. The power to change course, one calm decision at a time. And above all, the power to protect your independence, your clarity, and your days. You're not being dramatic, you're being prepared. Because true peace comes not from avoiding the truth, but from facing it early, with courage and care. And your heart deserves nothing less. Some of the most dangerous things in life make no noise at all, and that includes the early signs of heart disease. After 65, it becomes even more important to understand that feeling fine does not always mean being safe. The body grows quieter with age, not louder. Warning signs fade, and discomfort can feel like nothing more than a tired day. But inside, things may be shifting. Arteries narrow, pressure rises, cholesterol builds, and unless you check, you won't know. That's why regular heart screenings matter. They're not about chasing problems, they're about staying ahead of them. Getting your blood pressure measured every few months, scheduling annual lab work to track cholesterol, triglycerides, and blood sugar, or requesting an ECG if your risk is higher, these are quite acts of courage. They take just a few minutes, yet they hold the power to reveal what the mirror cannot. These tests don't demand strength, they ask only for your time and attention. And in return, they offer something precious: early knowledge, the chance to act, and sometimes the gift of prevention. Many older adults discover heart issues when it's already urgent, when breathing becomes hard, or when pain arrives without warning. But by then, choices become fewer and options shrink. Prevention, on the other hand, gives you room to adjust, to heal, to redirect your daily habits while the heart is still strong enough to respond. Skipping a screening doesn't mean the risk disappears. It only means you've chosen to wait for it to grow louder. And by then, the cost may be far greater, not just in health, but in independence, energy, and time with those you love. Regular checkups are not a burden. They are a quiet promise you make to yourself. I want to stay here clear-minded and strong. I want to give my body the tools to keep going. I want to live on purpose, not in reaction. When you treat screenings as part of your natural rhythm, like brushing your teeth or going for a walk, you stop fearing them. They become part of how you take care of yourself. Just like eating well or staying active, you don't need to wait for something to feel wrong. You only need to care enough to check. Because the earlier you catch a silent threat, the more life you get to enjoy in peace. Let knowledge guide you, let prevention protect you. Your heart deserves to be seen even when it's quiet. If you believe in checking before it's too late, comment, "Early is better." Heart attacks don't happen overnight. They build silently through habits we ignore and warning signs we miss. But the truth is, you still have time and power. After 65, what you choose each day matters more than ever. Hydrating, moving gently, reducing stress, eating with intention, and checking your numbers aren't just medical advice. They're your quiet tools for independence, clarity, and peace of mind. You don't need a complete life overhaul, just small, steady changes, done daily, not perfectly. Healthy aging is not about avoiding old age, but about living through it with strength, stillness, and purpose. If this video spoke to you, share your story in the comments. What habit will you focus on this week? Your words might encourage someone else. And if you found this helpful, please like the video and subscribe for more simple, heart-smart wisdom for seniors. Let today be the day you choose your heart. Gently, quietly, and with the respect it has always deserved.